Welcome to GamesBeat Rewind. This week we'll be going over the best games of the year through a variety of categories. Today, it's the non-awards. This is GamesBeat's chance to talk about the games and the things that happened that don't necessarily fit into other categories. Joining us today is myself, Jeffrey Grubb, GamesBeat Managing Editor, Jason Wilson, GamesBeat's Reviews Editor, Mike Minotti, GamesBeat Writer and Reporter, Stephanie Chan, and GamesBeat's PC Gaming Guest Post Editor, Rowan Kaiser. We're going to be with you all week, so be sure to check in every day for a new podcast and check GamesBeat.com for write-ups and more looking back at 2017. Hey you, yeah, you, the one trying to make a video game. I've got someone here that can help you, and that someone is Intel, which is not a someone, it's a company. But this company, they are going to help you as if they were a somebody and a someone and also a something. Check out software.intel.com/gamedev to find out how Intel is making sure all the innovation in gaming continues to happen on the PC as part of the Intel Game Dev program. Again, that URL is software.intel.com/gamedev. Sign up and start something new. All right, Rowan, why don't you kind of come in here with one of your topics? I believe you had a very specific one you wanted to bring up.
Well, actually, since Mike mentioned the letting things go into the dustbin of history or whatever, I thought of a good one, which is the best and most ridiculous ongoing support, which is that Crusader Kings 2 has got its 15th expansion. It had its 14th expansion earlier in the year. 5 years of DLC expansions, add-ons, unit packs, whatever, and each of them keeps actually adding to the game decently. And it's sort of ridiculous at this point. I think there are a lot of people who are saying you should just do Crusader Kings 3, but this is working for Paradox, so I don't know. It's still a thing.
I agree that it's like the ridiculous word there is actually really important because it gets to a point where I own Crusader Kings 2. I've booted it up once because I'm like, I really want to like spend time with this. But then you start looking like at all of the expansions you don't have installed, and then that is such a long list. And it's like, man, this is overwhelming, and it's like absurd at a point. I'm like, I'm just not going to. So it really is. It's simultaneously the best and the most ridiculous. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that. There are some other games that kind of do this stuff, but this might be the most insane example.
It's the most, in a way, by supporting it like this, they've turned it into a live service. Except
I've said they should do a subscription version because of what Jeff's talking about. It gives you decision fatigue. Like, you log in and you're like, I don't know what these things do. Do I need them? And you probably don't, but you might feel like you're missing out.
Right. Yeah,
and as soon as you get that stress, you're just like, no, I'll do something else. Especially with a game that has a difficult interface if you're trying to learn it. But
I mean, I can't imagine the player that jumps in after 12 expansions into Crusader Kings.
I mean, you might find somebody, or someone gets gifted it, or becomes press and wants to try it out or whatever. But yeah, it's a thing where, like, there are people out there who are like, here are the expansions you absolutely have to get, and you can find those lists on Reddit or whatever, or you could just give it a go and be confused with the original version. But it's gotten a weird stack where each expansion also comes with like a free patch that does a lot of the cool stuff, but not all of it.
I love it.
So
do that. That's always so smart.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to do. It's just, that adds even more complication to try and describe which ones you need and which ones you don't. And I know Paradox people talk about trying to fix this, but it hasn't really been done yet. So we'll see if they keep it up. But
yeah, this sort of thing is always you associate with like EverQuest, like, oh, a new EverQuest expansion came out. But yeah, those are MMOs, and that makes a certain amount of sense. They're paying a subscription, I think for that game still. Yeah. So yeah, of course they're going to come out with expansions and stuff.
Each of those is like an entirely new game,
right?
When you get a massively multiplayer role-playing game, each expansion is basically, here's the thing you're playing for the next 18 months.
Right.
And this is a totally new zone. So
in Crusader Kings, it's just piled on top of what already exists, right?
Yeah, like the two this year were there was a small one called Jade Dragon, which basically adds China not as a part of the map, but as like something influencing the eastern part of the map. And then there was one called Monks and Mystics, which basically adds a bunch of demon worshippers and secret societies and magic weapons and crazy stuff like that. That's the bigger one. But yeah, it basically adds a whole new role playing thing to it. It doesn't change the map or anything. It just says, okay, now you can worship Satan.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah,
Mike
that's
loves Satan.
kind of where the series lost me this time around.
Yeah, it might have been
Oh,
a
that's
bit
Satan
excessive.
worship?
Yeah, adding magic to a historical game is, a little controversial.
All right, well, we can get into one. Mike, have